Hello friends, today we are diving into Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. Have you ever looked at someone who has achieved massive success, the financial freedom, the time freedom, the impact, and thought, what do they have that I don't? You think it's luck, you think it's a genius level IQ, you think it's some secret handshake they learned at a fancy private school. But what if I told you that the difference between where you are right now and the life you dream of living is not your talent, it's not your education, and it's definitely not your circumstances. The difference is a set of habits, tiny, almost invisible, daily decisions. And today we are not just reading a book, we are deconstructing the operating system of the wealthy. By the end of this video, you will have a blueprint to rewire your brain, shatter your comfort zone, and build the life you actually want. Let's get it. Chapter 1. The Big Vision versus the Small Life. Here is the brutal truth that most self-help books are too afraid to tell you. You are living the life you have decided to live. It sounds harsh, right? But let's break it down. Dean Graziosi opens the book by smashing the mirror. He says that your current reality, your bank account, your relationships, your waistline is a direct reflection of your habits. Think about the average person. They wake up to an alarm they hate. They scroll through social media comparing their lives to strangers. They rush to a job that drains their soul. They come home exhausted. They binge watch Netflix to escape, and they go to bed promising tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow isn't different because the habits aren't different. Graziosi tells a story about his own life. Before the success, he was living in a small house, struggling financially and feeling the weight of the world. He had a big vision in his head. He wanted to be a speaker, a teacher, a change maker. But his daily actions reflected a small life. He realized that his habits were not aligned with his vision. He was hoping for a better life, but he wasn't acting like the person who lives that better life. Here is the lesson: you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. If you want different results, you have to become a different person. Not through massive, scary changes overnight, but by changing the small, automated programs running in the background of your brain. Your habits are your destiny. And the first habit of a millionaire? They stop hoping and start architecting. Chapter 2. The Dean Graziosi Ridiculous Story. To show you the power of mindset, Dean shares one of the most pivotal stories of his life. It's a simple story, but it packs a punch. Early in his career, he was trying to break into the world of infomercials and marketing. He was driving an old, beat-up car that barely ran. He had to drive to a meeting with a potential partner, a meeting that could change his life. As he's driving down the freeway, the car starts overheating. Steam is pouring out from under the hood. He's stuck on the side of the road, in a suit, sweating, with the biggest opportunity of his life ticking away. The average person would panic. They'd punch the steering wheel. They'd say, "See, this always happens to me. I'm a loser." But Dean had a different habit. He had trained himself to look for the solution, not the problem. He didn't have money for a tow truck, so what did he do? He got out, walked to a nearby gas station, bought all the water he could carry, poured it into the radiator, got back in the steaming car, and drove 5 miles at a time. Stop, pour water, drive, stop, pour water. He made it to the meeting, and that deal changed his life. Why does this matter to you? Because life is going to break down on you. It is going to overheat on the freeway. The millionaire mindset isn't about avoiding the breakdown. It's about how you react when the steam starts pouring out. It's the habit of resourcefulness over the habit of resignation. Chapter 3. The expansive versus the limited zone. Now let's talk about your comfort zone. We all think our comfort zone is a place of peace and safety, But Graziosi argues that your comfort zone is actually a danger zone. It's a cage. He introduces a concept called the expansive zone. Here's how it works. When you try to grow, you move from your comfort zone into your expansive zone. In this zone, you feel fear, you feel doubt, you feel awkward, you feel like an imposter. For most people, that feeling of fear is a stop sign. It's a red light. They feel the fear and they slam on the brakes. They retreat back to the comfort zone where it's safe and stagnant. But for the successful person, fear is not a stop sign. It's a compass. It's a green light. When Dean felt fear stepping on a big stage for the first time, or when he felt fear making a difficult phone call, he didn't run. He said, if I feel fear, that means I'm in my expansive zone. And if I'm in my expansive zone, I'm growing. Practical lesson is the next time you feel that knot in your stomach before you do something hard, asking for a raise, starting a business, having a difficult conversation, don't interpret it as a sign to stop. Interpret it as a sign that you are leaving the cage. The habit is not to avoid fear. The habit is to move toward it. Chapter 4, that is the success bank account. Okay, this is one of the most practical and powerful exercises in the entire book. Dean calls it the mirror exercise, but I want to reframe it for you. Imagine you have a bank account. Let's call it your success bank account. Every morning you have the chance to make a deposit. Most people wake up and the first deposit they make is a withdrawal. They look at their phone, they see bad news, they see someone who is better than them, and they start the day in the red. The mirror exercise is simple but brutal. Every morning you stand in front of the mirror, you look yourself in the eyes and you ask one question. Is what I'm about to do today moving me closer to the life I want, or is it moving me further away? That's it. You want to sleep in for an extra hour? Ask the mirror. Is this deposit or withdrawal? You want to eat the fast food instead of the healthy meal? Ask the mirror. You want to procrastinate on that project that scares you? Ask the mirror. This habit forces you to stop living on autopilot. It forces you to take ownership. The person in the mirror is responsible for your life, not your boss, not the economy, not your parents, the person in the mirror. When you start making decisions based on that question, you stop being a victim of your impulses and you become the CEO of your own life. Chapter 5. The Time Assassins. We all have the same 24 hours. So why do some people seem to get 48 hours worth of work done? It's not about time management, it's about focus management. And Graziosi identifies the biggest threat to your focus: time assassins. Not time wasters, assassins, because they kill your potential. Who are these assassins? 1. The news. 99% of the news has zero impact on your life. It's designed to make you emotional, scared, and angry. It keeps you distracted. The successful person is informed, not saturated. 2. Social media, the biggest dream stealer of our generation. You spend 20 minutes watching a stranger renovate a house in Italy, and suddenly your own life feels dull. You've just assassinated 20 minutes of your life that you could have used to renovate your own reality. 3. Low-value tasks. Answering every email immediately. Saying yes to every request. Being busy for the sake of being busy. The habit. The wealthy guard their time like a bouncer guards a VIP section. They are ruthlessly selective. They understand that their attention is their most valuable asset. If you wouldn't pay someone to do it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Ask yourself right now, what is one time assassin you can execute today? Cut it out. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 6. The expertise myth. A huge roadblock for most people is the belief that they aren't ready. They say, I'll start when I know more. I'll start when I'm an expert. Dean Graziosi destroys this myth. He says that you don't need to be an expert to start. You just need to be a few steps ahead of someone else. Think about it. A fifth grader might struggle with math, but to a kindergartner, that fifth grader is a genius. You don't have to be Tony Robbins to help someone. You just have to be one step ahead of the person who is currently where you used to be. Dean started teaching marketing, not when he was the world's greatest marketer, but when he had figured out a few things that were working for him. He shared his journey, and people followed. The lesson: stop waiting for the magic moment of expertise. It doesn't exist. If you have struggled with something and found a way out, you have value. If you have learned a lesson the hard way, you have value. The habit is to share your journey, not just your destination. Chapter 7: The 5 People Rule. You've heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn made it famous, but Dean Graziosi gives it a brutal, practical edge. He asks you to actually list those 5 people, write them down, and then ask yourself, are these people pulling me up, or are they holding me back? Are they dreamers, or are they doers? When you share a big idea, do they say, that sounds risky, maybe you should play it safe? Or do they say, let's figure out how to make it happen? This is hard to hear because we love our friends and family, but if you want to change your life, you may need to change your table. You don't have to abandon people, but you must limit your exposure to those who clip your wings. Find your tribe. Find the people who are playing a bigger game than you are. Find the people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. If you can't find them in person, find them in books, in podcasts, in online communities. Put yourself in rooms, even virtual rooms, where the energy is higher than your own. Chapter 8: The Power of the Pause. We live in a world of instant reaction. Someone says something we don't like, we fire back. We get a negative email, we write an angry response, and we get a craving, we give in. This is the behavior of a slave to impulse. The behavior of a master is something Graziosi calls the pause. In the space between a stimulus, something happening, and your response lies your freedom. When you feel anger rising, pause. When you feel like quitting, pause. When you feel the urge to spend money you don't have, pause. In that pause, you ask the mirror question: is this reaction moving me closer to my goal or further away? The wealthy have mastered their emotions. They don't suppress them, they just don't let them drive the bus. They let logic drive, and emotions are just passengers. This habit of pausing gives you back control of your life. It turns you from a reactive animal into a proactive human being. Chapter 9: Design Your Destiny Day. Let's get tactical. How do you actually implement all of this? Dean says you have to stop living by default and start living by design. And it starts with your morning. He calls it the Destiny Day. Your morning routine should not be a frantic scramble. The first hour of your day is the rudder for the rest of your ship. Here is a simple, powerful routine you can steal. 1. Movement. Wake up your body. 10 minutes of stretching, jumping jacks, or a walk. Get the blood flowing. 2. Mindset. Read something inspiring or listen to something educational for 10 to 15 minutes. Feed your mind before you feed your ego with social media. 3. Mirror. Ask yourself the mirror question. Visualize your day. See yourself winning. 4. Massive action. What is the one thing that if you got it done today would make everything else easier? Do that first. Eat that frog. Before you check email, before you get sucked into the drama of the day, you attack your most important task. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you win the day, you win the week. If you win the week, you win the year. Chapter 10: The Success Cycle. As we move toward the end, let's tie it all together. Success is not an event, it's a cycle, a flywheel. Most people look for the magic pill. They want the one secret that will make them rich overnight. But Dean shows us that success is simply clarity to action, to results, to belief. 1. Clarity. You get clear on your big vision. You know what you want and why you want it. the mirror exercise. 2. Action. You take massive, imperfect action based on that clarity. You move toward the fear, the expansive zone. 3. Results. Because you took smart action, you get a result. Maybe it's a small win. Maybe it's a lesson learned. 4. Belief. That result, that win, that lesson builds your belief. You start to believe, hey, I can actually do this. And when your belief grows, your clarity gets even sharper, and the cycle starts again, faster and faster. Most people are stuck because they wait for belief before they take action. They want to feel confident before they do the scary thing. It doesn't work that way. Action comes before confidence. Action creates the result that creates the belief. Conclusion is the ripple effect we've covered a lot today. The mirror, the assassins, the fear, the pause. But if you walk away with one thing from Millionaire Success Habits, let it be this. Your habits are not just about making money. They are about making a life. When you change your habits, you don't just change your bank account, you change your energy. You change how you show up for your family. You change how you feel when you lay your head on the pillow at night. You create a ripple effect. Dean Graziosi started in that broken down car, full of doubt and fear. But he built the habits. And because he did, millions of people have been impacted by his work. His ripple became a wave. What ripple will you create? Starting today, you have a choice. You can go back to the autopilot, you can go back to the time assassins, you can let the fear win, or you can stand in front of the mirror tomorrow morning, you can look yourself in the eye, and you can decide. You can decide to build the habits of the person you are destined to become. If this video added value to your life, if it sparked something inside you, please hit that like button. It tells the algorithm to get this message to more people who need to hear it. And if you want to keep architecting your destiny, if you want more deep dives and blueprints for success, subscribe to the channel right now. Join this community of builders and dreamers. Don't just watch the video, be the video. Go out there and design your destiny. I'll see you in the next one.